Hello, my name is Leanne Lieberman, and I'm the Director of Digital Humanities at the Claremont Colleges. This tutorial series is intended to introduce you to WeVideo. In this video, we'll learn some popular editing techniques. Once you've imported your media assets into WeVideo and you've identified footage from the WeVideo Essentials library that you'd like to incorporate into your project, it's time to actually begin building and editing your video project. And when you do that, you're going to be working in either timeline mode or storyboard mode. To demonstrate the difference, let me go ahead and create a new video. And my default here is timeline mode. Timeline mode is a setting that's going to provide you with a lot of versatility and a lot of control over your own editing experience. Timeline mode is called that because you see the timeline here on the bottom with a number of tracks that you can add footage to, and we'll talk about tracks in just a second. If I go up to the drop-down menu and I switch to storyboard mode, you can already see that your tracks are much more limited. In storyboard mode, this is a great option for beginners or individuals who want to create a video in just a few minutes, but ultimately you don't have that same sort of control over your editing experience that you would find in timeline mode. For this reason, if you start working in timeline mode, it's very difficult to go back to storyboard mode. So whenever you're starting your video editing project, it's important to choose which mode you'd like to use very carefully. For my purposes today, I'm going to go ahead and go back to timeline mode. And I want to talk about one other best practice, and that is track organization in timeline mode. So you'll see down here that the default is 2 video tracks and 1 audio track. If I need to add a track, I can very easily do that, and I can title it appropriately. Here at the Digital Humanities Initiative, we really recommend keeping distinct media artifacts in separate tracks. So for instance, if I go ahead and go to my media, I'm going to start my video project with this video clip. I'm going to pull a second video project in right at the end of that first video clip. And I'm going to pull a third one in to my third track. And you can see that I've got all of them arranged on individual tracks. That's my preference for helping me stay organized. You might find that keeping all of your video content on one track, all of your audio content on a second track, all of your still image content on a third track, you may find that that's good enough for you. But whatever your system for keeping yourself organized, we encourage you to define that system early in your editing process and stick to it. You'll also notice that the drag and drop interface, as I've mentioned in earlier videos, makes working in WeVideo quite easy. That said, if you are interested in learning some of the keyboard shortcuts, you can head over to our website to our quick guide to WeVideo to see what some of those are. One thing that's important to remember when you're working in WeVideo is that you can very easily supplement your own media with resources from WeVideo's Essentials library. Because I already uploaded 3 video tracks to this current project, I'm going to do just that by finding an audio file to serve as my background from WeVideo's Essentials library. And in order to do that, I'm going to go down here to audio. And I'm not particularly picky on the audio track that I choose, so I'm just going to go with the first one. And I'm going to drag it down to my timeline, you'll notice that I can't add it to a track that has been formatted for video, but I am going to be able to add it to this track down here. And voila, I've got my 3 video clips and my audio clip. So all of the dragging and dropping that I've done while starting this project, those are the sorts of features that make WeVideo very easy to navigate and simple to learn. However, if you'd like to learn some of the keyboard shortcuts to help you out in this process, I want to encourage you to go to our website to check out the Quick Guide to WeVideo, where we have some of the most popular editing shortcuts that you might want to use when you're in timeline mode. The 2 editing features that I want to focus on for the rest of this short tutorial are trimming and transitioning. Trimming allows you to cut your video or audio clips to fit the parameters of your current project. This is particularly useful for us today because you probably noticed that the audio clip that I just added is much longer than the video clips that I had already incorporated into this project. So in order to trim the audio clip to make it more appropriate, I'm going to go right here to the end. See that my cursor changed, and I'm going to go ahead and drag that to where I want it to be. And once I get close to the end of that last track, it's actually going to stick to it. And I let go, and there we go. I've got a nice trim and neat set of tracks that I'm dealing with. If I want to see these a little better, I can go ahead and increase the magnification right there in the bottom right. Excellent. So moving on then to transitions. Transitions are going to allow you to smoothly segue from one clip to the next. Our recommendation is to try to add transitions to the start and end of every clip so that nothing starts or ends abruptly. And transitioning is a little different in WeVideo for video tracks and for audio tracks. So let's demonstrate on video tracks first. In order to add a transition, I'm going to go to the track in question. I'm going to right click, and I get an option to add a transition. I'm going to click that, and you'll see that a little gray box has popped up right at the start of my clip. It's also cut into that clip a bit. If I click on that, I'm given a few different options. I'm going to keep my duration pretty short because these are short clips to begin with. Type, I'm going to have a lot of different options to choose from. Some of them are a little more professional, some of them are a little more fun. For the start of my video project, I'm going to keep this one professional with a crossfade. And I also have the option to apply this transition just to the selected instance or to all instances of transitions. To show you a bit of variety, I'm going to keep it just with selected. But I am going to go ahead and add a transition to the end of this clip, make this one a little more fun. Rainbow. The second video track, I'm going to keep that without transitions, just so you can see how that looks. But up here in the third, if I add another transition, we'll do another fun one. Let's go to page curl. And then at the end, I'll have another professional one. Not the crossfade, but the cross blur. Excellent. So that's transitioning for your video tracks. Transitioning for your audio tracks is a little bit different. First and foremost, you want to make sure that your audio, especially if it's background music, is balanced so that it doesn't drown out the audio in your video files. So in order to play around with that, you're going to move this bar on your track. Let's keep that just at 70. But in order to include fades or transitions, you're going to go to the track itself, and you'll see here that you've got this blue line at the top of your track. That's going to be your volume, and if I click on that, I'm given the option to have it at 100% volume or 0% volume or anywhere in between. So if I leave it like that, my volume is going to steadily increase to my maximum volume throughout the course of this entire short project. I don't really want that to happen. I want my transitions to happen a little more quickly. So if I stay on that blue bar and I click, I can produce another node, and from there I can have my volume come up a little more quickly. I'm going to do the same thing at the end. Excellent. So clipping and transitioning, or trimming, excuse me, and transitioning, those are the two sort of most common editing functions that you're going to need to accomplish in WeVideo. In a later video in the series, we'll go over some more advanced editing techniques, but for now, let's go ahead and go to the beginning and check out what we've got.
Logan, sit. Come here, Logan. Come here. Good boy. Sit. Good job.
Thanks so much for watching this tutorial on WeVideo. Don't hesitate to contact us through our website or through email if you have any questions. And be sure to follow us on social media to see our latest updates.